Welcome everyone to the PJ's Cast. I'm your host Pierce, alongside of my good pal Dylan. Good thing we didn't record yesterday. We were originally supposed to record yesterday, but we're doing it today, and thankfully that happened because now we can talk about Ryan Donato signing a 4-year extension worth $4 million per. Now, I know the Florida Panthers won back-to-back cups and all that stuff, but this is a Blackhawk centric podcast, and as far as I'm concerned, Florida Panthers don't win back-to-back Stanley Cups without the Chicago Blackhawks' help. Whether that's us giving them Seth Jones or Buddy Robinson eliminating the Pittsburgh Penguins, like just thinking back to that game, how crazy of a butterfly effect it's had on the future of the NHL. Not only the Florida Panthers going to 3 straight Stanley Cup finals and getting back-to-back cups, but also the Blackhawks getting Connor Bedard. So yeah, we'll talk about those bums, the Florida Panthers, later. I want to talk about Ryan Donato. So what are your thoughts on the extension? I think it's a good, like, the first word that came to my mind when I saw it, like, fair contract for both sides. I think Ryan Donato could have gone to free agency and gotten some more, but it sounded like the thing that was holding them up was the extra year. It sounded like they originally offered Ryan Donato $4 million per over 3 years, and they got it done with the 4 times 4. So yeah, what was your thought on the contract?
Yeah, I mean, it was a little touch and go there for a little bit. It sounds like they were really pushing to not give him that fourth year, which at the end of the day, I think you and I had this discussion multiple times. They have so much cap space that fourth year isn't really going to affect them. Um, Obviously, yeah, they're going to have to start signing their kids at that point, but I don't think, as of right now, unless something crazy happens, there's probably only like two or three of those guys that are actually going to get paid. The rest are probably bridges, if I had to assume. But I think it's a great deal. For Donato, he finally gets protection, or not protection, but term, which he hasn't had ever in his career. I think people forget this guy's played for 5 NHL teams. He's been around the block a couple times, and he got a 2-year deal with us, and he gets his pay doubled and his term doubled. So, well deserved extension. I think this helps out the Hawks immensely because I think you and I were both starting to worry if he doesn't get re-signed. That's a pretty big hole in the middle six. I don't think either of us are expecting him to drop 30 again next year, but if he's like a 2020 guy going forward, you need that in your lineup. Plus, he plays hard. He plays every game. Can play in all situations. I think one of the reasons I like this deal the most is because even if he's making $4 million, he's probably one of the most efficient fourth liners you can have once this team's really ready to rock and roll. But for the meantime, I mean, he was the most common line mate with Bedard last year. He's had the most success with Bedard out of anyone on the roster, I'd like to reckon, besides maybe Nazar and Bertuzzi. But even then, the numbers speak for themselves when Bedard and Donato get put together. I think they glued them together the last like 15 games of the year for a reason. And I think it's a great move. It's a guy who wants to be here. I think you and I discussed last night. I think he should have an A once the last wave of leaders leaves because I got a feeling the guys like Foligno, the Murphys, the Dickinsons are probably getting traded off at the deadline this year. Salary retention is going to be tough on a couple of those, but I have to imagine at least Murphy's going to get moved this year. He deserves to go play some playoff hockey, but
Yeah, for real.
it's a great ad for the middle six going forward. And, it's one less roster spot you have to figure out. And, you gotta keep someone around. And it's a little different than when they kept Athanasiou around or like when they kept Dickinson around, or Mrazek. This is a guy who had 30 goals, 30 assists, 60 points last year. He clearly has the edge. Yeah, he shot 17% last year, but even if he shoots 12% this year, that's still probably a 20 or 22 goal pace, roughly, maybe 20. And you need that. You need that. I'm a firm believer in you need at least 5 or 6 guys that can put up 20 goals to make the playoffs. And if you don't have that, you need to have the depth of at least 9 to 10 guys that can put up 12 to 15. And Donato fits that bill every time. And if you look at his resume, his 2 of his best years in the league were here. So I think it's a match made in heaven, honestly. And that's a big name off the market with the extensions that are going around right now.
Yeah, especially if you're looking around at the Oilers with Trent Frederick. If they do go through with that deal, which LOL Edmonton, we're gonna get into that later. But yeah, he's 29 now. 4 years, that's gonna take him till he's 33. I don't expect him to go 30, 31, 31 next year. It's crazy that he got scratched 2 games. Like but he still ended up with 62 points in 80 games. Yeah, he's not going to hit 30 again. I even think if he hits 20, like, that's gravy. I expect him to be more to his career average. Like, the year before that, the first year he played in Chicago, 12 goals in 78 games. He had 14 goals in 71 games the year before that in Seattle, and then 16 goals in 74 games in his first year in Seattle. Like, I'm thinking we get more of that, like 15 goals. And if you get any more than that, like, again, that's gravy on top. And it really is a match made in heaven, like you said. Like, I think both sides needed to work this out, because at the deadline, I was thinking, oh, maybe Ryan Donato could fetch a first-round pick, because to me, in my eyes, like, he has the versatility to play up and down your lineup and play in any situation and score all these goals. Like, you look at his even strength goals across the NHL, he's up there with some elite companies, some of the best in the NHL, and it never
He had more than
seemed like
McDavid and Crosby this year, just for
yeah,
reference.
I mean,
And
that's all you
McKinnon.
need to know right there. I think he had more than Matthews as well.
Yep. He was 19th in the league in 5-on-5 goals.
Crazy, but it never seemed like there was much of a market for him. There might have been, but not that big market. And honestly, it kind of felt like the same going to free agency. So it felt like both sides did need to get this done, and they got it done, and I'm glad they did. Because my big thing with this team, and it has been going back the last couple of years, who's going to score the goals on this team? Even with signing Donato back, you're losing like generously, you're probably losing 10 goals. And again, we're going to get into it later, but they need to sign a guy or two or make a trade for someone else, because this, like, you need more offensive support. Yeah, I get Donato played very well with Connor Bedard and was his most common line mate last year, but I just, again, we can't go into a season with Donato and Mikheyev as Connor Bedard's wingers. We got to do better than that. But for an off season where we're kind of nervous about, and that's putting it nicely, I think we're generally more on the pessimistic side. I think this is a great piece of business to get things going. And again, with just the other moves happening, it's like, well, I'm glad I made that move instead of giving a Trent Frederick 8 years till I think he's 35 years old for pretty much the same amount of money. So yeah, tidy piece of business, honestly.
Good start to the offseason.
Yeah, well, we gotta now, like, pretty much a week until the draft, and then a week and a half till free agency. It's all gonna fly by quickly, and everyone's gonna go to their colleges, and it's already kind of silly season here. We just saw that the Dallas Stars re-signed Matt Duchene, 4 years, $4.5 million, which of course,
Granlund season.
yeah. Hey, no, Jason Robertson season. Woo! No, it's not happening. But I think the Stars are still going to be interesting to watch, because I still don't think they have a lot of cap space to play with. So, yeah, who are they going to keep? Are they going to be able to move off of any of those defensemen, whether that's Dumba or Lyubushkin? I guess we'll see. We're going to get on to some more moves that did happen. Don't worry, we'll get into the Cup final soon. But I do want to talk about some of the moves. Like, none of them big, but you could see the dam is kind of starting to burst with the offseason. This trade, I think, happened last week. Chris Kreider to Anaheim. That's another guy. Yeah, maybe not what he once used to be, but I would have loved a Chris Kreider on the Blackhawks. But I don't think Chris Kreider probably would have waved to Chicago. Like, it seems like Anaheim is trying to push for the playoffs, and that's twice now where the Pat Verbeek has bailed out Chris Drury and the Rangers and taking on a maybe not so great contract, but I really think Chris Kreider helps. And I'm just looking at that team with Joel Quenneville as the head coach and all the big bodies they got. We've said this before. I think the Anaheim Ducks can push for a wild card spot next year. What do you think of the trade?
It's funny. There's always a team that helps the other team bail out of contracts. The Hawks, it was Arizona for the longest time.
Yeah.
And Carolina and Florida and places like that. New Jersey just rakes Anaheim to the coals every time, and San Jose for that matter. Oh, just get out of jail free card in California, and like good for a couple of these guys. Like, I know Trouba likes it in Anaheim, it sounds like, and I'd imagine Kreider's gonna like it too. Like, I just think of a guy like Kreider with McTavish, and that just really intrigues me. And
or any of those
with Carlson, like they just have, they're so, like you said, they're so big down the middle. It's such a versatility to have, and especially when you have a coach coming in that knows how to use that player so well. Like, he's just got to be salivating. Like, I could have 2 Taves Saad Hossa lines with this team if it pans out properly. They didn't score a lot of goals last year, but I think with Quenneville's system coming in, that's definitely going to help get the offensive upside out of some of these guys. And I'm going to be honest, I don't think Chris Kreider's a 25-point player. I don't think he's the 50 goal scorer he was before, but if he could put up, 25, 30 goals, 50 points, like that's exactly what you need on Anaheim. Like, I don't like, just to put it into context, because I've looked at Anaheim's stats before. I'm pretty sure their leading goal scorer or leading point getter had like 50 points. Like, it's
even the Blackhawks had more than that. Ryan Donato would have been their leading point getter.
Yeah, 55 from Troy Terry, who rumored was on the block and then it got shut down. But they had 7 guys who had 40 or more points last year. You look at guys like Cutter Gauthier, you look at guys like McTavish, Troy Terry. It wasn't even the best of years from Carlson and all these guys. So they're going to have the weapons to take a step up, and they're really young. And I think a guy like Kreider brings a lot of leadership to that. He can play in a lot of different situations. And if you make the playoffs, he's clutch as fuck in the playoffs. So I don't see this as a bad move. The Rangers get a lot of cap flexibility out of that. I think that's like 2 more years at 6.5 that just got off the books. No retention, which is huge. I don't really know what they're cooking up right now. I would think they're sniffing around Robertson. I think they're sniffing around Peterka. I think they're sniffing around Marner, which
Ehlers
would be hilarious if he went to one of the biggest markets in the U.S. Like, you're not escaping Toronto at that point. New York media is just as bad, buddy. But
you get to deal with Larry Brooks now and not Steve Simmons.
Dude, Larry Brooks talking about Matt Rempe was going to get offer sheeted. Give me a break. Oh, my God.
You know that meme of, like, the guy gripping the sandwich? It's like, bro, relax. No one's going to take that from you.
Yeah. Death grip on the sandwich on Matt Rempe. But, I mean, from a Hawks perspective, I would have liked Kreider. I think that's a move that he would have played very well with Bedard. But, I could see where Davidson's coming from. 6.5 is a lot to take on, but for Anaheim, they still have like 30 million cap. They could definitely pony up on a Mitch Marner or a Nick Ehlers, and I think they're going to go big game hunting. I mean, they had 30 something wins last year. They got a young core. They have 2 really good goaltenders potentially. Defense left side looks incredible. You got Lacombe, you have Mityukov, and then you have Zellweger. Like, that's disgusting. Gudas and Trouba on the right side. You just got people. Like, they built their defense the way I kind of want the Hawks to go eventually, because you have these, like, the Hawks will just be on the right side, but you have these great mobile defensemen. You got to put someone with them that can let them play their game. And I think we saw that with Morgan Riley for years, and Anaheim's doing that right now with guys like Lacombe bringing in, Trouba, who can stay at home and play that game while you have a defenseman basically acting as a fourth forward, which is a lot of fun. But I like the move, honestly. They didn't they give up like a third and Casey Terrence or whatever, and he was never going to play for the team. So I thought Colangelo would still be going the other way, big American. To read the Rangers language. But for context, Kreider would have been 10th in scoring last year on the team, and that was his down year. He had 30 and 68, and he still had 22 goals. So I think
he was doing. Yeah, he had a Cy Young season. I think he had like 22 goals.
But yeah, I like the move.
I like what Anaheim's doing. Yeah, could they have maybe squeezed New York for more and be like, no, I don't want to take Kreider unless you're giving us back or like, I don't know, like their first or whatever. Yeah, maybe they could have played a little more hardball, but I do like what Anaheim is doing, and I think historically they've never been huge spenders. It sounds like they want to spend money. We've talked about how big their forward core is up front and talked about their defense. Their goaltending was amazing last year. Dostal might be one of the better young goalies in the NHL, and it seems like John Gibson found the fountain of youth. I don't know if they're going to try to look to trade for him. Maybe he goes to Edmonton, maybe something gets done there, but no, the Anaheim Ducks look like they got another. What are they picking this year? I think they're picking 6th, 5th. I can't remember. Like, they're picking high again. They're going to have another draft pick. Maybe they could put that in play for a ready forward for them. But I like where Anaheim is going, and it sounds like they're going to offer Mitch Marner something. So, yeah, I think they're going to be a team to watch. And, like, I think that's the crappy thing about the Blackhawks is every team wants to be good. I think Elliot Freeman said the only team that does, like, that clearly wants to rebuild is the Pittsburgh Penguins with the rising cap.
They're gonna get everyone. McKenna. They thought the Hawks tank was slimy. You don't know shit yet. They're shoving Malkin out the door as we speak. Sorry.
No, you're so right though. Like I mean, it's due now. Every 20 years, I think Lemieux was drafted in 84, 85. Crosby was 2005, and Gavin McKenna 2026. Okay, my bad. Every 21 years, like they're due for it now.
Oh my gosh. And like Anaheim's, I'm gonna be honest, like this is a big year for them. I've just looked at their Puckpedia and they got some big contracts up this offseason. Not this offseason, but next offseason. Carlson and Gauthier right off the shoot. Trouba's gonna need an extension, which won't be as much as 8, but I imagine you want to keep him around. There's another big one I'm missing. I mean, Zegers needs an extension, but I don't think he's gonna be here for that.
No, he's gonna be a Blackhawk.
They gotta extend. Where I just saw it. What the heck? Oh, Lacombe needs an extension. Mityukov needs an extension. Zellweger needs an extension. They all need an extension after this season. So you're going to really know what you have in your guys this year. And what better way to make sure of that than, go big game hunting and bring in some leadership. And they've already done the latter.
Yeah, I mean they basically have the 2022 Rangers. I think I saw they could put out a power play unit, or like they could put out like a 5-on-5 unit of you got Trouba, got Kreider, and then I think Ryan Strome and Frank Vatrano. Yeah, they're just
Judas played for him too, I'm pretty sure.
Did they?
Did he? I don't know.
Yeah. Either way, a lot of New York Rangers. Another move. This more is baffling, but it's kind of on brand with what this team has done over the last couple of years with Barry Trotz as their GM. Them getting Eric Haula from New Jersey. I don't get that move at all. I don't get what Nashville is trying to doing.
New Jersey definitely clear cap. That's what I gathered from that. They're looking to spend again.
I mean, great tidy piece of business for them on their end.
Haula gets a second stint in Nashville. I think they're betting on he does a little bit better with them, and then they can flip him. But also, I don't know what Nashville's ever doing. They wanted to win a cup this year, and they're picking 5th. So, I think they're just betting on they're not going to be as bad as they were last year, but they're probably not as good as they were 2 years ago. So you're probably just in that Minnesota Wild middling category, which everyone loves so much.
I love that as a Blackhawks fan. Like, yeah, they might be better than us now, but
yeah, they got a bunch of guys in their mid-30s. Like, they're like the Capitals of the West, except the Capitals actually have youth helping uproot the program.
They have help on the way.
You look at Nashville. Their center depth is Ryan O'Reilly and his band of merry men right now. They got pretty good wing depth. With guys like
Stamkos isn't even a center anymore, I don't think.
No, Stamkos is a winger. Hall is a winger too. He doesn't play center much. So I don't really know what they're doing. Obviously, they're probably going to go center in the draft, I'd have to imagine.
They're going to get James Higgins.
It sounds like Higgins is going to drop out of the top 5 from what we're hearing, but that's what they always say, and then he ends up going. Like, there's always a guy who's super highly skilled that falls. 2 years ago it was Mishkov. Last year it was Demidov. This year it's probably Higgins. It's just the reality of the way the league's shifting. We're watching teams that win Stanley Cups just beat the sense into everyone, dating back to, I mean, if you really want to go as far back as St. Louis, the Lightning did it too.
The Blues, yeah. Got to be a bully to win. Like, you can't be no more Mr. Nice Guy.
Yeah, and like, there's been highly skilled teams, but like the Hawks had a bite to their game. The Lightning had a huge bite to their game. You look at the Capitals, they had a bite to their game. The Penguins had a bite to their game. Like, you just have to have that. And if you don't show that in the draft process right now, teams might have those intangibles a little higher. That's why a guy like Brady Martin's probably going in the top 5 this year. That's why a guy like Caleb Denoye.
Utah really likes him. Yeah.
Yep. And with a guy like Caleb Denoye, even with 2 messed up wrists, he's probably going top 5. Like, this is where the league's shifting. We've seen this time and time again. Let's just see if it pays off this time, because I know in 2019 when everyone started doing that, it was hit or miss with the results. For every Matt Boldy, there was a Kirby Dach.
Dude, look at the Hawks. Like, they drafted Kirby Dach 3rd overall, but then you got Alex Vlasic in the 2nd round. So
exactly, it was all size that draft,
and
then Cole Caulfield, and Jack Hughes. But even then, Jack Hughes is not as small as people make him out to be. He's like 6'2" or 6'1" or something.
Is he?
He's taller than you would expect. That's all I know.
He's not a small guy, yeah. And it's interesting you bring it up, because I feel teams are now just going to be drafting for winning in the playoffs. Like, that's all that matters now. That's what I've really taken from it seems like these past few years since we've got COVID, all that matters is winning the Stanley Cup. And to me, like looking at the top guys available in free agency, Mitch Marner, incredible regular season guy. I think every NHL team should be looking at signing him, 100-point guy, Selke winger, but doesn't get it done in the playoffs. And then there's the antithesis of Sam Bennett, where I think he's only gotten 50 points once. I don't think he's ever scored more than 30 goals. And here he is, 15 goals in the playoffs. I think he broke a record for most goals on the road, Conn Smythe winner. And it doesn't even sound like he's going to hit the market. It sounds like he is going to stay in Florida for on the cheap. I think Frank Saravalli said, like, at this time of year, there's so many rumors. There's that NHL rumor account. I've just been looking at that and seeing what's happening, like who's signing and what could happen. And I think I saw $7.5 million over 8 years, which sounds about right. And fuck, why won you? Like the Florida Panthers have won back-to-back Stanley Cups, and everyone on that team just seems to have taken team-friendly contracts, and it's worked out. And they're going to continue to win. And with the cap space going up, I don't think they're going to go anywhere.
So I don't mean to backtrack, but I was just looking into more about Duchesne and Dallas. I want you to guess, Pierce, how much cap space does Dallas have right now?
Oh, I think I saw this. Isn't it like $50,000?
Yeah, $455,000 to sign Ben, Bourque, Lundqvist. If you want to re-sign Granlund or Dadonov, like, dude, they're not in a good spot. I was just looking at their roster. Like, they have 7 forwards and 3 defensemen, and it's just a bunch of plugs. It's something that doesn't get talked about enough when you have a good team like that. Everyone's got to get a piece of the pie at some point. And I think that's why Bill Zito deserves so much credit in Florida. Like, yeah, he's in a tax-free state. So is Dallas. And Zito's managed to...
Dude, you got Rantanen discounted. Yeah.
There's only 2 guys making 10 out in Florida. And it's Barkov and Bob. And Bob's up in like 2 years. He got Reinhardt on a fantastic deal. Like, Reinhardt could have got double digits if he went to the open market.
Do we want to...
He's on like 8.
Do we want to talk about the Florida Panthers? Like, do we want to
talk about
the Cup final? Because, like, we're going to have these next, like, week or so to talk about what's going to happen in the offseason. And as much as I hate the Florida Panthers, and I'm not even saying that to be mean, like, I'm paying that as the most, like, that's the best compliment I can give them. And I wanted the Oilers to win. And there's always narratives around the cup winning team, whether that's like the Panthers are dirty, which they are. They are bastards, but they are the best at it. They are the super villain. And there's always the tax-free state. And I'm just thinking the last few Stanley Cup winners, like, yeah, they have that, but like they're dirty, like they're not fun to play against. I think they get away with a lot. Yeah, they live in tax-free states, but from the owner to the bottom, like from the owner to the GM to the coach to the players, they are all in and they want to win. That's the Florida Panthers. That I would put Vegas there. I would put Tampa Bay there as well. I don't even know what to say. Like, I really wanted the Oilers to win, but as soon as, like, it's really a miracle the Oilers won 2 games at all. Like, every period in that cup final, the Florida Panthers scored at least 2 goals. I think like game 4, they scored 3 and they still lost that game. And just the amount of time they led. And yeah, as soon as like game 5 and 6 happened, that was a team that's like, we are the best. No one can beat it. You say this all the time. There's levels to this shit. The Florida Panthers are far and above the best team in the NHL. Like, I even look at the Oilers. They, after losing the first 2 games to the Kings, they basically cakewalked to the cup. Like, they beat Vegas in 5. They beat Dallas in 5, who I thought both those teams could have beat the Oilers. And yeah, like as the series just went along, the Panthers clearly looked like a better team. And we talked earlier about, you need a lot of goals. Like, look at their point distribution. They basically had 3 first lines as far as I'm concerned. And then, their fourth line held serve, and their defense and Bobrovsky, he didn't really have to be incredible, but he made the saves he had to make. Just an incredibly well-built team. And, we always look back to, like, the decisions the team makes. Like, I think of like what happened with Buddy Robinson, how the Panthers barely snuck in the playoffs in 2023. I think of back to 2019, the Oilers wanted to get Bill Zito and Bob Nicholson, who's part of Hockey Canada and is part of the Edmonton Oilers front office. Like, no, I gotta give my buddy Ken Holland a job. He's just out now, and now Bill Zito going into Florida, the moves he's made. I think the first thing he did was draft Anton Lundell, who is basically baby Barkov now, and all the trades they made. The only homegrown talent they have on that team is Barkov, Lundell, and Ekblad. The rest is through trades, and just looking at them in Vegas, they don't give a fuck if they're trading all their first round picks and prospects. They know exactly what stars they want to get, and they go on the team and they perform very well, and they get them on cheaper contracts. And again, like I said, just with the caps going up, like they're going to keep Bennett. I don't know if they're going to keep all of Bennett, Marchand, and Ekblad, but to me, they're going to keep two of them, and they're just going to keep competing. I think on their Puckpedia page, they don't have any first round picks, but I don't think they give a fuck right now. Again, as much as I hate the Panthers, they are the perfect supervillain. Holy fuck! Like, I just look at Sam Reinhart, a 4-goal game in Game 6. Like, I know we want Bedard to be like the center. We want him to be a Connor McDavid. We want him to be a Nathan McKinnon. What if Connor Bedard is just a Sam Reinhart? Like, Sam Reinhart is a winger, but Sam Reinhart is also a guy who scored 57 goals, has a Stanley Cup winning goal. He is now a lock to be on Team Canada at the Olympics next year. I would love if Connor Bedard is even a Sam Reinhart. I mean, yeah, just such a good fucking team. I'm rambling on. What are your thoughts on the Panthers?
Dominance.
Mm-hmm.
Dominance and being ahead of the curve. Teams should take notes on what the Panthers have done. It's not easy to obtain, but they're smart about how they went about their decision making. It's almost like parallels, and you're gonna love this. I'm comparing this to the Leafs because they both did like in 2022 and 2023. They both did completely different things. Leafs got smacked in the mouth in 23, had the chance to switch up the lineup, just like Florida did the year before after they got swept by the Lightning. Bill Zito saw that this team wasn't good enough to win a Stanley Cup when they won the President's Trophy, and he traded for Matthew Tkachuk. And on top of that, before that, he traded Vincent Trocheck for like 2 seconds, and this guy named Ito Luostarinen, who's basically was one of their top performers this postseason. Traded the 30th pick for Sam Reinhart, I'm pretty sure. Just
And
tidy
Levi.
business.
Yeah.
Got a, what was it, like, was a cheap return for Montour at the time, too. Picked up
I
for
think it was
Hagee
a second round pick, if that. Yeah.
Yep. Picked up for Hagee for nothing.
And then extended him.
Zito the one that signed Bob?
No, that would have been beforehand.
Okay,
but Sergei Bobrovsky is going to be a Hall of Famer, and they traded Devin Levi and Spencer Knight because they're so confident in Bobrovsky.
And they draft a goalie every year, and Bob's in their development core, or Bobby Lou. So I have faith in they'll be able to find another goalie. And they had Stolars last year. Like, they just know how to find goalies.
Mm-hmm.
Gustav Forsling was a goddamn waiver claim.
Dude, the Carolina Hurricanes put him on waivers. Like, we're gonna give the Blackhawks shit for trade. At least they got some from the Carolina Hurricanes. Probably the most analytically driven front office in the NHL. Put Gustav Forsling on waivers. Unreal.
And he's become the modern day Nicholas Chalmerson. It's incredible. And last year he got Tarasenko at the dead. He got Tarasenko. He picked up Okposo. These little moves that kind of put him over the hump last year, but this year, it was just a little bit of tweaking, a little bit of retooling. And then at the deadline, he knew what he had, and he added more. The Seth Jones trade is such a good trade for both sides.
Yeah.
Got Brad Marchand for a conditional first. And when you're that good, teams are going to only want to go to you. So you have to pay less. It's an unbelievable situation to be in. The concern with them going forward, and I remember talking about this like 2 years ago. I was like, they have a 3-year window. It was always clear as day they had a 3-year window because there's a lot of extensions that were coming on, and they've maximized that 3-year window. But you can't keep them all, and they were going to lose Ekblad. That was just the reality of the situation. So what do? They go get Seth Jones, and now your top 3 is Forsling, Jones, and Mikkola going forward. And you can
where the hell did Nico Mikkola come from? Like, guys,
Stanley Cup champion with St. Louis, I'm pretty sure. Guy's incredible, and he's developed immensely well in Florida. And you just look at these moves, and it should have been clear when Vegas won 2 years ago.
Dude,
you do not have to homegrown all your you don't have to homegrown all your talent. Sometimes you got to shit or get off the pot and make moves to better your hockey team. Vegas learned this the hard way for a couple years and then figured it out after they got Jack Eichel. And it took a year. They missed the playoffs the year they got Jack Eichel. People forget that. You look at Florida, just they completely reconstructed a roster that at one point was being very complacent. They had all the guys they drafted. They had Ekblad, they had Huberdeau, they had Barkov, they had Trocheck, they had all these guys that they were homegrown. And eventually it wasn't good enough. They hit a glass ceiling and they moved off of some of these guys. And I think other teams can take a lot of notes off that. I think that's why the Rangers are moving off a lot of guys. They see what's going on and they can basically just rebuild the roster. Dallas has tinkered with it a little bit, but they've never done a full roster reconstruction like that. And they might have to now, but LA, I think, should look at that. Take a long, hard look at.
I think every NHL team should look at that right now. Like, shuffle shit around.
Yeah, and I think the only team where they've kept their guys and it worked was Tampa, and even then they got rid of Stamkos, and they traded McDonough twice. Sometimes you just got to do it. They traded fucking Sergachev, for God's sake. Like, this is what good teams do to keep the ball rolling and extend your window. Not trade for Brandon Saad for Artemi Panarin.
Yeah.
It's just a note that a lot of teams in the league should take. And it just shows that to win a Stanley Cup, it's not a star-oriented thing. It's got to be the whole team. It has to be the whole team. And every guy.
It helps that you have 3 first lines, basically, if that helps too. Like,
it's depth.
Unreal.
It's depth.
Yeah.
Like, they're never going to be that deep again. But at the same time, they scratched a guy who had 15 goals this year in the playoffs. Like, Sam Miscavige is going to go right into the lineup.
That's where I wanted to bring that up. That's such a good point. Like, oh no, we lost Brad, or we might lose Brad Marchand. Oh, we're just gonna put Mackie Samuskevich right into the lineup.
And the top 9 is untouchable. Also, another one, Evan Rodriguez, just under the radar pickup. Got him on a 4-year deal, and he's just the third piece on the top line of the team, or the top 6 in general at that point. Fuck, they got Sam Bennett for 2 seconds, like 4 years ago.
Emil
just good asset management.
I think just unreal. Yeah,
it's good. It's fantastic asset management. There's no other way to look at it. And yeah, they don't have first for the next 3 years. I doubt any of them give a shit.
Nope.
Like, the Hawks better just pray to God they're all banged up to shit, so it's a lower pick.
Yeah, I was gonna say I hope they take a step back and maybe they get like a high teens pick or something, or low 20s.
I mean, they're banged up to shit. Like, they're not gonna be healthy come October 1st, but it's still just such a ridiculously deep roster. Like, hats off to Bill Zito. He should win GM of the Year every year at this point. I
think the true GM of the Year trophy is the Stanley Cup. He's got that 2 years in a row. So, yeah. I mean, I don't even know like what you judge on GM of the Year. But anyways, yeah. Really, it's crazy how Bill Zito has built all this up within a span of 5 years. Like, we did the podcast when Tkachuk got traded. Like, I don't remember your reaction, but like I remember being like, "Man, Matthew Tkachuk's a great player, but you just traded Jonathan Huberdeau 115 points and Mackenzie Weegar, top pairing defenseman. Like, how do you like? Oh man, that's gonna be tough." And then for a while, it's like, "Oh, they might not even make the playoffs." And you brought it up, the Trocheck trade. I remember that trade happening too. I'm just saying, I think that was before Zito, and you got Eetu Luostarinen out of it. Yeah, just incredible. And I was listening to the Dangle podcast, and I think the difference between the Leafs and the Panthers is the Leafs were like, "Oh, we're gonna like not do anything just to show everyone we're right." Whereas like Florida, and I would put Vegas in there and Tampa, like, we're making these moves because we want to win a goddamn Stanley Cup. Like, we're not here to prove anyone else wrong, or like to be like, haha, we showed you there. Like, no, we want to win a Stanley Cup championship. And to me, it's the difference. And that's such a good point. I think it was Adam who made the point.
100%. It's an incredible feat when it's all said and done. And it's not a dynasty. I'm not calling it a dynasty, but
you got to win next year or the year after. If they win 3 and 4 years, they're a dynasty.
Yes. Yeah, it's one of the most impressive 3-year runs, though, in recent memory, for sure.
Yeah, it's really them and Tampa. Pittsburgh didn't go to 3 straight Cup finals. Blackhawks never did. They almost did, but coulda, woulda, coulda. I mean, still got 3 cups in 6 years. Penguins still got 3 cups. But yeah, these last few years, the cup has been going through South Florida. Or in Florida, I guess.
Yeah, for 5 years now.
Yeah. Shit, like I don't even know what else to say about the Panthers. Like, are there like I don't think there's any weaknesses on the team this year. I think they were just like every player that stepped into the lineup just did not look out of place, played their role. It was really incredible.
Top-notch play all around.
I need to look at the point distribution because it was ridiculous. Like they set a record for, I think it was most goals scored in a playoff run, and they played 2 5-game series in there.
Yeah, it was like 93 goals or something. It's ridiculous.
Ridiculous. Yeah.
They basically averaged 4 goals a game the entire playoff.
Okay. Sam Reinhart, 23 points. Matthew Tkachuk, 23 points. And what were his injuries again? It was like a hernia and it was a couple other things. I'm
Torn
pretty
adductor
sure.
or something. Like it's
there
just,
you go.
The thing you need to basically move your body.
No, not for Matthew Tkachuk. Carter Verhaeghe, 23 points. Conn Smythe-Winter, Sam Bennett, 22 points, 15 goals. Alexander Barkov, 22 points. Brad Marchand, 20 points. Ito Luostarinen, 19 points. Anton Lundell, 18 points. Evan Rodriguez, 15 points. Aaron Ekblad, 13 points. Nate Schmidt, 12 points. And yeah, that's all I got. I'm just looking at the NHL app.
Got 12 points out of your third-pairing defenseman. Should tell you what kind of depth they had. It's incredible. Their whole top 9 basically was over 15 points.
Mm-hmm.
You just can't, and they're all hurt. Like Barkov had to get stitches on his hand. Like, how are you playing at that level when your hand is
still
cut?
Bullied the Oilers on that one shift where, oh my god, yeah,
it's nuts. Reinhart had a grade 2 MCL tear, and he's scored 4 fucking goals in the game winner. Like,
yeah,
this team was banged up to shit and still beat the crap out of everyone. And it's funny because I think every series they had 1 or 2 games where they just did what they do best, which is win 6-1 and just pummel you into the dirt, which is something that like the Blackhawks used to do in 2010. Like, yeah, they won every game like 7-4 when they do it, but they would just beat you fucking down and draw a bunch of penalties and just be efficient as fuck on the power play. And that's exactly what Florida did. I mean, how many 5-1, 6-1 wins do they have this postseason? They had at least 2 against the Leafs. They had 2 against the Oilers. I think they had 1 against the Hurricanes, and then they had 2 against the Lightning. It's unprecedented, honestly. And it might never happen again, but just it's going to be a cup run that people look back on. And I know everyone likes to talk about like the bracket of post-cap era teams and like what would be the best team. That team's at least making the Final Four. Probably winning,
yeah.
For being
That's
honest.
a great idea for an off-season episode. Like, who are the best teams of the cap era, best cup winning teams?
Facts. We should do that for sure.
And like maybe it's recency bias, but I think this is the most dominant I've ever seen a team in the cap era. Like, just unreal.
Super dominant.
Because like Tampa Bay, I don't want to be like, oh, Mickey Mouse Cups, but you face the Dallas Stars and the Montreal Canadiens in the Cup final. The Panthers had to face the Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl Edmonton Oilers 2 years in a row in 82-game seasons, and they won them twice. Were even more dominant the second time around. I still think the Penguins is very impressive again, like back-to-back cups and full 82-game seasons, and like the Blackhawks, even though they couldn't get back-to-back cups, are shitty win 3 cups in a row. I mean, 3 cups in 6 years, and like just
3 cups in 6 years and 5 Western Conference Finals in 7 years, which is basically what the Lightning did, just without the third.
Never going to complain about that. Yeah.
It's a great team. It's going to be a great team to look back on, this Florida team.
Yeah. And there's going to be the inevitable copycats. Like, I think one of the most interesting teams, and they were a one-off team, was the 2011 Boston Bruins, because every team tried to copy that, and it never worked. The Vancouver Canucks tried it, didn't work. The Toronto Maple Leafs tried, didn't work. And I think a few other teams tried it as well. And I think a lot of teams are going to try to replicate like the physicality and the grinding of the Florida Panthers. Like, I don't know if that can be done.
And I don't think it will. I think it's just very hard to construct a roster of that much size, that much skill, that much speed. It's a hard thing to grasp without just being in the right place at the right time for a couple of those trades, I feel like.
And I feel that's why I'm like, I think both you and I are so like, man, yeah, it's nice to have all these prospects, but if the Dallas Stars are indeed shopping at Jason Robertson, like you got to do everything you can to acquire a player of that caliber because they just don't come around that often. But then also, like, why is it always the same teams going after the Stars? Like, if you're not going to be committed to go after Stars, you're not going to get any. The the Florida Panthers again do not give a fuck. Like they're making any kind of move they can to win. Same with Vegas as well. Like you gotta operate with that ruthlessness. Like yeah, it's nice to have prospects and all, but like having the best prospect pool in the NHL or one of the best is not going to get you banners. It's not going to get you the playoffs. It's not going to get you to win games. So I think that's just a lesson for everyone, for every team in the NHL. If a good player's available, go get them. It's very simple, but a lot of teams like to be more risk adverse and not do that.
Thanks.
The Oilers, from the Oilers end of thing, like last year, it was heartbreaking to watch that. Like I really thought they were gonna pull the reverse sweep and winning game 7. It was so tough. But then after this cup final, I'm just like, I think everyone knew like the Panthers were just the better team that time. Like the 2024 could have gone either way, went down to the wire. Whereas this year it's just like, oh, the Panthers were clearly the better team and the Oilers were clearly outmatched. And again, it's kind of a miracle that they won 2 games when they were down 3-1 in game 1 and they were down 3-0 in game 4 where I thought they were cooked there. Like I think it's crazy they even pushed it to 6 games. And we've been saying this since the podcast started. You need a goddamn goalie. Whether that is you find a way to get Jeremy Swayman from Boston or John Gibson from Anaheim. It's clear this team is good enough to cakewalk through the Western Conference, but if you want to beat the truly best, you need just an average goalie, and you didn't even get that cup final. Like you got sub 900. I just think like. Yeah, could the Oilers just score more goals? Absolutely, but I'm just thinking how deflating it must be that you're giving up the first goal every time. You're giving up 2 goals in the first period every time in the cup final, trailing early, and it's like, oh, we got to battle back every time because our goalie can't make a damn save. But also, like, defense was horrible. I mean, Ekholm got burnt twice in those last couple games, and just, yeah, the Panthers were straight up the better team, and no one had an answer for them.
Yeah, and there's going to be a lot of questions with Edmonton this offseason. I'm taking a look at what their cap situation looks like. If Trent Frederick's taking 3.75, like everyone's anticipating, they are only going to have $8 million cap to sign Bouchard, who is going to get double digits. Don't agree with that whatsoever, but he's just going to. It's just the reality of the situation. I think Bouchard's ridiculously overrated, but we're just not going to talk about that. It's like watching Brent Seabrook, except he can't play defense. It's crazy. And people think he's top 5. I can't. And this cup final should have shown it. And this is why I wanted to bring it up. You look at the way their cap's constructed before McDavid gets extended. They're going to have 4 players making $50 million once Bouchard gets extended. You have no room for depth. You have 0 room for depth. You better pray to God Matt Savoy can hit in the top 6 role. Because if not, you're in a situation where McDavid's going to be up and half your roster needs extensions. Like, they're not in a good spot. They're not in a good spot whatsoever. And I don't know how you improve this roster. Like you said, their back end is abysmal outside of like Brett Kulak, and even Ekholm had his gaffes in the cup final. I don't know what you do. If you're Edmonton, besides get a goalie and just run it back maybe, but you don't have the cap to get a goalie. I don't know how you get said goalie. Genuinely. Like, I don't know how. Like, you want Arvid Soderblom? Like, that would probably be your best bet, because at least he doesn't make any money.
Give him back Brossoit again.
Yeah, they can go get like Joseph Woll, and even then, that doesn't fix your fucking problem. Like, they just got to restructure how they're constructing this roster. And honestly, that would be more concerning to me if I'm McDavid for signing an extension, because you're going to take up more money in that cap. Yeah, the cap's going up, but you have no one to fucking play with again. And that's been your problem for the first 10 years of your career. We're going on year 10 of McDavid right now. It's unacceptable. It's unacceptable, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's a decade of poor decision making. Like this team should have. It's so hard to win a Stanley Cup at the NHL. The Oilers should have at least a cup right now.
Dude, someone pulled a
And-
tweet from 2021 where it was just like, oh man, just get the Oilers a goalie and they'll be good. 2021. Bro, they've had 5 years to fix this problem. Ken Holland couldn't do it, and Stan Bowman definitely is not going to be able to do it. He's about to sign a bump to 8 years. Oh my God. Like, I would have zero faith if I'm Connor McDavid in this organization right now.
The Blackhawks played the Oilers in the 2020 bubble. You want to know why the Blackhawks beat the Oilers? It's because the Blackhawks had Corey Crawford and the Oilers
And a
played
hair
Mike
of depth.
Smith in the first game. Yeah.
They could run more than one line.
Yeah.
Like, we joked about it in 2020. That was probably the best matchup for Chicago. If they had any other matchup, they're getting trounced. But no, it's a team that they've already beaten in the regular season multiple times and had zero depth and actually constructed their roster to where Chicago is capable to beat them, which is ridiculous because they were a bottom 8 team in the league that year. If I'm McDavid, I'm not signing in Edmonton again, but what do I know?
I'm just
What do
thinking from like a pure hockey fan standpoint. I don't think he's going to go to free agency because that's just normally what stars do. But holy fuck, like if he hits the market, all 31 teams should be ponying up and offering the max that you can.
100%. The super duper
Like-
max. Like literally, Hawks
the
should give him
CBA.
20 mil. 20 mil times
Mhm.
8. Don't even fucking question it. And I think there's going to be like 10 teams that are going to do that.
Oh,
I'm sorry, if your
every
team doesn't
should do it,
completely change their structure to go at least offer McDavid a contract, shame on you. Shame on you. And McDavid controls everything right now. Like, if I'm Edmonton and he's not extended by the end of the summer, I'm fucking terrified.
yeah. Man, even if like the first week of July is gone, I got nothing done.
You better
Yeah.
pray to God he extends, because if not, he's not getting traded midseason unless he really
No,
wants to go to
never.
one team. That's the thing. He can control where he wants to go, regardless. If he
Oh, he can do
walks,
whatever the
he
fuck
can
he
control where he
wants
wants to
to.
go. If he wants to get traded right now, he's got a fucking no move. He can go wherever he wants. Actually, does he have a no move? Let's go check. Hold on. This is a good
I would.
question. Hold on.
I would think so that he does.
You know, you would think, but thinking is not something Edmonton normally does.
Yeah.
So.
You know, I would have thought Victor Arvidsson would have a no movement clause, and he
Oh
does.
my
so-
God.
Yeah,
What
it's
is their
not
deal?
great.
Like, what is their deal? I don't understand. Like, this is so stupid. And he doesn't have a no move. Ouch. How did that happen?
Yeah, that's wow.
What the fuck? That can't be right.
That
He doesn't have a no move. What the Who negotiated this? Oh yeah, the owner of the team now, or the president, or whatever.
No, yeah, that's right.
No, he does.
No, he has a no
He
movement
does have one
clause.
in the last year. He does. Oh my God. I was going crazy. I'm looking on Puck Media. I'm like, where the fuck is it? But
For the first half of his contract, he didn't, but for the last half, okay, that makes more sense.
Dude,
Jeez,
and
but I would
doesn't even get
wouldn't
talked
put
about, but
past
like
him to do that.
losing Hyman sucked for them. Like, it just showed they have no depth when Hyman's out, and you got to get
Listen,
rid of
like-
Evander Kane. I think there's a lot.
Zach
of
Hyman's
roster moves that need to happen.
awesome, but if Zach Hyman is the difference between you winning and not winning the cup, like there's bigger problems than there clearly is. Like Zach Hyman, you should be able to win a cup with losing Zach Hyman. If it was McDavid, Drysdale, absolutely, but I love Zach Hyman, but I don't think he's that level of player where it's like, oh, we're fucked if we can't even think about winning the cup.
If I had a nickel every time a Canadian team had Zach Hyman as a straw that stirred the drink, I'd have 2 nickels. Doesn't seem like a lot, but it's crazy that it happened twice. Oh my God. I feel like I'm having more flashbacks to 2021. But
It never ends. It's always
it just shows you 2 different types of roster construction, honestly. The Oilers are so top heavy, and it shows them the way they play their game. If McDavid's having an off night, if Draisaitl has an off night, that's it. Say goodnight. Florida, Barkov had an off playoff, and they won. Kachuk didn't do
didn't
shit
score a
in the cup
goal
final,
in the
and they
cup
won.
final, but there's that. I think it was the third goal where Barkov just dominated everyone,
everyone,
threw it on the
and-
net, Reinhardt off his ass, I'm pretty sure. Like,
yeah, Barkov's just on another level. I think I've been a Barkov supporter as long as I can remember. Like, the guy's not underrated anymore. He's just the best defensive forward in the NHL, in my opinion. Levels to this shit. He's so good. And yeah, you got to have some homegrown talent, pretty good homegrown talent to have. And you got him at 10 mil, which is a steal for what he provides. It's a 90-point player that plays at a Selke caliber level. You can't beat that. You just can't. Like Kopitar had that maybe 2 years. Taves had that 1 year in terms of the high-end offense to go with it. Not to say that like 70 points is bad whatsoever, but Barkov puts up 95 a year minimum if he's healthy. And even if he's not healthy, he's still over a point a game. He's an incredible player, and McDavid and Draisaitl are great as well, but they don't have a Carter Verhaeghe. They don't have a Sam Bennett. They don't have an Eetu Luostarinen. They don't have these guys that they've acquired.
They don't have an Anton Lundell, man.
Fuck, they don't even have an Evan Rodriguez, bro. Like, you need something. Like, Kasperi Kapanen can't be the difference maker in your top six. Vasily Podkolzin can't be the top goal scorer in the cup final for you. You can't be relying on 40-year-old Corey Perry to get all your goals. And that starts with management, in my opinion. It always does.
It has been.
Stan Bowman should be thanking God they made the cup final again. If I'm Dallas, I'm shaking my fucking head. How'd you get waxed by this?
That's what I'm thinking. How like there's levels to their shit, because like Florida is clearly above and beyond better than everyone. It's like the Oilers, yeah, they got their shit kicked in the finals, but they cakewalk through the West. Like, what are the rest of the teams thinking in the West?
The closest series was Vegas, and that was a 5-game series.
It was closer than I think people
give it. Just shows.
Yeah, if I'm
high-end talent can get you only so far.
Really, you have both, and I feel like Florida had both. Again, three first lines. Mm-hmm. I like. You would think logically, but again, this is Stan Bowman we're talking about. They would have some kind of move in place, like when they signed Frederick. Like you think of like a player like an Evander Kane would be out the door, or Victor Arvidsson, or an Adam Henrique, but I'm not convinced that's going to happen. I think Frank Saravalli did say like, oh, they're not going to officially put the contract through for a while, and it's like, well, they don't have a plan right now to clear that cap space, because if they just sign him as he is right now, like you have, I think, what was it, 3.75, and they got just a little under 12 right now. You got maybe a little over 8 million to work with. That's not going to sign Evan Bouchard. Like you need at least 10 million. Because if I'm Evan Bouchard and his agent, I'm like, I'm not getting paid less than Darnell Nurse. Like, forget, like, there's no way you're moving that Darnell Nurse contract.
I wonder if you can get creative with Bouchard. I know they should keep him, but I think there's a couple teams that would pay a lot for him, and you could get a lot for him. Like, I look at a team like Buffalo, and you could get Byron Peterka for him.
Oh, I like
and that solves so many fucking problems for you. Like, yeah, you're not going to have that high-end talent at the point anymore, but if you can just, like, the Penguins won a cup with Ron Hainsey as the top defenseman.
And Brian Dumoulin.
Dude, like, you can win a cup with a mediocre defensive core if they play a right system. I'd argue Washington's D core wasn't even that good when they won. You just need, like you said, you just need fucking structure. They need depth scoring.
And saves from your goalie.
Yeah, like I think you can get very creative with Bouchard if you can't agree on a number with an extension, or just pay him 11 mil and completely cripple your cap. Your choice, because that's where this is leading to at this point. You're gonna have 50 mil tied up in 4 players. You just watched how much torture that put the Leafs through for 5 years to have 4 making like 44 or some shit.
Even with the cap going up, I just don't think that's a
half your cap in 4 players is so fucked. Like. Especially when one of them's not great in Nurse and one of them's highly overrated in Bouchard. It's not a winning formula.
$20 million in Darnell Nurse and Evan
It's not
Bouchard.
A winning formula.
No.
I think you have to strongly consider getting creative with this roster this year. And they're not going to. They're going to play it safe, and they're going to pay Bouchard like 11.5, and it's going to make no sense. But whatever.
Not my team as much as I do am cheering for the Oilers. Fuck. How do I buy out Darnell Nurse and what does that even help? Because it's just so much fucking money. I don't know how to get the buyouts on this, but I don't think it will be pleasant. That's for sure.
Facts.
What? I think a lot of teams would obviously love an Evan Bouchard. I'm just kind of like trying to go through what teams would trade for him. Like, I don't know. I think Seattle needs a high-end defenseman. What if Seattle's like, oh, here, take, I don't know, Jamie Alexiak and like Shane Wright or Matty Benier. I don't know. I'm spitballing. I'm going off the dome right now. Would LA take an Evan Bouchard if LA's like, oh, here, take Grant Clark back, and here's like Adrian Kempe or Kevin Fiala or whatever. Like, thinking about that would be the wise way to go forward. But yeah, I'm not confident that's gonna get done. They're gonna sign Bouchard, and then maybe you're lucky to get off of one of Evander Kane or Victor Arvidsson, but you're probably buying one of them out. And I don't even know what the fuck you do with Darnell Nurse. Like, he's barely a top 6 NHL capable defenseman, and you're paying him almost $10 million. Like, you're paying him to be Cale Makar.
Not great, Bob.
No. And all I can think of is that I think clip from The Simpsons where it's like, watch out, everybody, he's about to do something stupid. Like, that's going to be the whole NHL world with Stambo and Saucing, because moves are going to be made, whether they're good or bad, smart or dumb. They're going to be made.
Mm-hmm. Facts.
Well, that's all I got from the Oilers. Just disappointing, and it really shows like all your past mistakes. If you don't like correct them, they're always going to come back to haunt you. Like, it's so simple. Like, they could keep the same team, and if they get a goalie, who knows? Maybe they run it back. Maybe they get a few more saves. Maybe they win. I don't know, but I got to see it happen. And like, what goalie can you get that's out there that could be better than a Stuart Skinner, a Pickard? Like, do you look at Jake Allen on the free agent market? Like, Swayman and Gibson would be nice, but they're making a lot of money. Like, is Soderblom an option from Chicago? I don't know. Guess we'll find out. I mean, I'm pretty sure
I cannot stress this enough. It's quite literally not that hard. I've watched a half dozen teams completely revamp their goalie core overnight. Look at New Jersey, for God's sake.
Colorado
did it mid-season.
Mm-hmm.
Vegas. Like, this is what good teams do.
They traded the reigning Vezina Trophy winner. They got Aiden Hill for like a 4th-round pick, and he was like their 3rd or 4th string guy, and he won them a cup.
Yep. I mean, fuck, the Kings traded Dubois for Kemper and it fixed their problem. Get creative, for God's sake. Yeah. And Bowman loves getting creative for all the wrong reasons. So we'll see how this goes.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's depressing, really. You got 2 of the best players on planet Earth, and they don't have a cup yet. And I think Draisaitl is going to be 30 this year, and I think McDavid's going to be 29. It's in the upcoming year. It's sad, and like it's not a guarantee he stays. Like, again, I think hockey is boring. McDavid will. I think the thing that's going to happen is McDavid's going to re-sign, and then the rest of the team is going to suck. And like, this is their best chance, and they didn't capitalize on it. But fuck, if McDavid ever went to free agency, like that would be like that would be like our version of LeBron going to free agency, or like Shohei Ohtani going to free agency. Like, everyone in the hockey world is going to be watching that.
100%.
Anyways, do you have any more thoughts on the Cup final?
Nope. Congrats to Florida. Edmonton's got a lot of work to do.
Yeah. And a lot of
honestly, Florida does too. They got a lot of re-signings.
They're gonna get it done. Like, again, it already sounds like Sam Bennett's gonna re-sign for cheap, and I think Marchand walks, and I think they try to keep Ekblad. Like, I think they're gonna keep 2 of the 3. Bennett they're gonna keep, and then one of Marchand or Ekblad.
I think Ekblad's gonna walk.
Someone made the point. It's like
a lot of money that can be made on the open market, and Marchand's got to chase the bag. He's taken a pay cut his whole career, in my opinion.
That's right. Like, He has been underpaid his whole career. This is going to be the time for him to like make the highest AAV he ever has. And I think I saw this tweet. It was like, if you sign Aaron Ekblad, make sure you have a Gustav Forsling or a Gustav Forsling equivalent. Which
Not
is so
wrong.
true.
I mean,
Yeah.
Ekblad is good, but he has his weaknesses. He has his flaws. There's no denying that.
He's almost kind of like Brent Seabrook.
No.
No?
Ekblad's close for athleticism to him, I'd say.
But I mean, he's
like play style. I agree.
Yeah, but I mean that like play style. Like he's kind of like complimentary. Like he's not gonna be the one like driving the pair.
He's not your
like,
1D.
No, yeah, exactly.
But he'd be a great 2D.
Yes. Do you want to do a mock draft now? With the draft being pretty much a week away. How do you want to do this? Do you want to start, or do you want me to start? I mean, really, who wants? Do you want to be making the decision for the Hawks at 3, or do you want me to do that?
You can do it. Because I think you know who I'll pick.
God damn it! I keep wrong tube. There we go. All right, let's start this. I actually might not be. Oh my god, it's the second podcast in a row. I'm like dying on camera. Okay, I think I'm good now. It's just gonna keep happening.
He's locked.
All right, I gotta lock TF in. Let's pull up the draft order. I do know the Islanders are selecting first, Sharks second, Blackhawks third. What? You're just telling me now for the first. You're telling me now for the first time.
Right.
Oh yeah. Okay. Got it. All right. First pick, New York Islanders. I'm not going to overthink it. They are picking James Haggis now. They're picking Matthew Schaefer first overall. And as of right now, that sounds like the only pick that's locked in because I was listening to the prospect series on The Athletic, and it sounds like the Sharks aren't even like convinced that Michael Misa is going to be the pick. So we talked about, might this draft be 2019 where the first 2 picks are decided, or this draft class might be 2022 where we have no idea what's going to happen at first overall? Or is this draft class like last year where first overall is decided, but then the rest of the way we don't know. I don't know. But I do know Matthew Schaefer is going first overall to the New York Islanders. And it sounds like they might try to get back into the top 10 and pick James Haggins.
God, I hope number 2 is up in the air. That would make my whole year. Oh my God, if Misa falls into our lap at 3.
If they get Michael Misa,
Scott Powers has already said they're going to throw the draft board out if Misa falls to 3. Just sprint to the mic.
Scott Powers said they're going to put him in the NHL, or at least give him a chance in the NHL.
Awesome. I mean, if they want to go young, like they're saying, yeah, throw him in there. Why not? Put him with Bedard or Nazar, or you just run 3 centers the whole year, and it's just nasty as hell. Put him at 3C and put Donato with him or something. I don't know, but I'd glue him to Bedard regardless. But I'm going to pick Misa second. I think they're not going to overthink this. Now, if they are going to overthink it, I do think this is either Martone or Frondell.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's Denoye.
Really, they like Denoye too, but
I just can't see Denoye going 2. I really can't. I could see him going 3, but I think the Hawks are really in on Frondell right now, if I had to guess. But I think Misa
I think they're going to go Frondell. I don't know fully, but if I had to guess, I think it's Frondell.
Which is what I've been okay with since day one. Like, you can watch the live stream. That's immediately who I wanted with pick 3. But I think Misa just brings such an element to this team. Another high-end scoring talent. Like, your 4 best scoring forwards at that point would be Celebrini, Smith, Eklund, and Misa. And then you have, scattered in like a Quinn Musty and stuff. Like, they're just going to be ridiculously deep in a couple of years. And, they probably really like Matthew Schaefer to fall 2.
Not happening unless
make their defense immensely good. If you have that and Dickinson on the left side going forward, that'd be fun. But I think you got your best player available, unless you're just so sold on someone. And I know they've seen a lot of Misa because I think Cherishnoff or whatever his name is he plays on the same team. So he's been right in their backyard this whole time. They have a lot of intel on him. I wouldn't overthink it. I take Misa too. But feel free to not come next Friday, please. Or Thursday, whenever the draft is. I don't even know when the draft is. Oy.
Yeah, it's next Friday. Same with the anyways. Yeah. But Do you think a trade into the top 2 happens for the Blackhawks? I don't
I think the
think it
price is too
does.
high. I think the price is too
Yeah,
high. They're,
'cause
from what I heard, the Islanders want next year's first, and I'm not giving that. No chance.
maybe if it was Florida's next year's first, but
Yeah. With the way
yeah.
the way the beat writers talk about the Hawks, you need to keep that Gavin McKenna pick. Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they can get to the top 15, even top 10 again. Like I think they can package whatever, like their 20.
If Boston's lurking,
34.
Boston wants on ice talent though. We don't have that.
No.
Yeah, there's a couple teams where they might be able to bounce back in, but we'll see. I'd like for them to. I'd love for them to get like a Carter Bear or Roger McQueen or something, or Victor Eklund.
Oh, that's my dream. Frondell and Eklund, if they can get both. And speaking of which, the next pick, like I'm going based off of who I would pick. I think the Blackhawks, I do think they're gonna pick Anton Frondell. Like I mentioned this last podcast, I feel like Frondell has a little bit of everything that a Porter Martone has, Caleb Denoye, and I would even say James Hagens. Like he seems like so versatile. Like he has a little bit of everything that they have. I do want Porter Martone. Like he just feels like the perfect guy to glue to Bedard's hip. But the same might be for Frondell as well. Like maybe you glue him to Bedard's hip, or maybe you decide to go Barkov and Reinhardt and you put Bedard to the wing, or maybe you put him with Frank Nazar's playmaking and you let Frondell's shot really shine, get him a lot of goals. Either way, I think he brings a lot of versatility, and I think like there's a lot to work with there. Like he's still very raw. I think if they do draft him, they're going to bring him over to Rockford and work on him. And I don't think it's out of the question by the end of the year we could see him play a few games if that's the case.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'd really like for it to be Frondell or Martone or Hagens. It's literally anyone but Denoye. If it's Denoye, it's a colossal failure at 3. But what do I know? Sounds like the 4 names that are in are him, Martone, Frondell, and Misa if he falls. So we'll see. I like that.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like they're discussing Hagens. Like I think they want to get another, I guess, bigger forward in there. But if you really believe in James Hagen's skills, man, take him. Like I think everyone's like almost like underrating him now, or saying he's bad. He was still point per game in college, and he could go back and win a Hobey Baker, compete for a Hobey Baker. So I would definitely not be like mad if the Blackhawks. I'd be happy. I would just be surprised. Oh, you're going another small forward, but hey, if you're getting another Frank Nazar, like a Logan Cooley type of player, I mean, shit, take that at 3. I love Logan Cooley, and I still think he's gonna be great. So, speaking of Logan Cooley, up next is the Utah Mammoth. Who are you picking at number 4?
I mean, they love Brady Martin. It'd be hard not to pick him. I mean, if I'm them, I'm probably going Porter Martone, but
yeah, agreed.
I think Brady Martin's the pick here. I think there's too much smoke around it for it not to be. They're talking about moving pick 4. I think they're trying to move him to move down to get him. They have a lot of skill in that lineup right now. They need someone who plays another way. That's why they drafted Tej again the last year. People forget that. They're looking for players who are biting their game. And I think that's probably Brady Martin in that case. Like I've watched a bit of tape on him. He probably projects as like a really good second liner, if I had to guess. But
could be a Sam Bennett.
Brings an edge, and that's what you need with a team that has like a Keller and a Cooley and a Schmaltz and these guys that are a little smaller and a little more skilled. You need some guys that have that edge, and you got the top end filled out already, honestly. So start filling out the secondary pieces. I'd go here. I wouldn't sleep on Denoye either. I think having Denoye as a 2C behind Cooley is very useful, or Schmaltz, because I think Schmaltz plays more wing anyway. But like you got to think they already have Keller, they have Schmaltz, they have Cooley, they have Gunther. They got a bunch of talent at forward. Like Michelli's an afterthought. Like I think that's someone the Hawks should look at in a trade. But that's it's Brady Martin at 4 though for me.
Brady Martin, all right. So for the Nashville Predators, they really need center help, as we mentioned earlier. I was thinking Porter Martone could almost be their next Philip Forsberg, but they just need so much help down the middle. I think they go James Hagens at number 5.
Yeah, they need a high-end guy in that system. with like Matthew Wood and all the guys that they've drafted. Like Kamel, I don't think's developed at the way that they want to. Sveshkov's in the NHL, but doesn't have that ceiling. This would be their first prospect with a legit ceiling. Makes a lot of sense, but also Nashville is just one of those teams, man. They love being derivative with their picks. Look at Igor Shurin last year. Yeah, I like the pick. Don't be surprised. I'm size though.
I think like for my mind, I'm like I want to pick the best player available. What I think, and to me, that's James Higgins. I very much could see them go Caleb Denoyer because it's probably more likely he's going to be a center, but I want to swing for upside, and I think they just have a lot of wingers that they wouldn't go a Porter Martone, but I mean they could go any of those guys. Like fuck, we don't. I think from 3 to 10, like you could mix any of those guys in there. And like I think I saw Corey Proman did a mock draft and Martone fell to Buffalo, I think at 9. I'm like, holy shit, if that happens for Buffalo. It's like he could go 3, he could go 9. I think any of these guys in the top, like after 2, between 3 and 10, they could go anywhere, and I wouldn't be too shocked. So, but yeah, I'm going Higgins at 5.
Well, I'm going to Denoyer at 6. Screams Philly. Like Denoyer to Philly or Boston just makes too much sense. And
yeah,
I think Philly's going to scoop him up here. They don't have a legit center prospect in the pool. What better way to get Sean Couturier 2.0 than have him learn from Sean Couturier? So they're going to be a perfect fit for Denoyer. You can put a big center next to Mishkov down the line. You just hope he hits the ceiling, I guess. But I'm going with Denoyer at 6.
Boston Bruins, I know they do need center help, but I'm not going to pass up a chance to take Porter Martone for them. Yeah, just be like, oh, learn from David Pastrnak. Not that David Pastrnak is like a power forward, but here's how you score 60 goals and get 110 points, kid.
Facts. And pick 8's interesting. Because I feel like Seattle wants to go D here, but
that's what I was gonna say. Like, I think like we're going forward heavy right now. I think we're gonna
because the draft is forward heavy. There's like 5 defensemen that are worth taking in this round.
But teams are always like, oh, we need defensemen so badly. Like, let's draft that, even if they aren't like the most talented player available. But defense is a more hot commodity, especially if they're right-handed.
So it's a tie between 2 guys for me, I think.
Is it Murka? Played in Seattle.
I think it's Jackson Smith.
Okay.
Because he's got that upside. He'll go to Penn State, be able to develop properly. And then they love picking skill. They will go skill over anything. We've learned that with Seattle. I think Victor Eklund's on the board for them. Get some winger help.
That would be an amazing pick for them. Yeah.
So I'm gonna go Jackson Smith just because I do think they go D, but I would love to see Victor Eklund on the wing of one of Wright, Catton, or Beniers come 2-3 years down the line.
Number 9, I got the Buffalo Sabres, and I usually like what Buffalo does at the draft. And I'm just gonna give them Victor Eklund at number 9. Like, whether they develop them or keep them, that's another matter. But I think they draft usually pretty well. It's just they cannot keep them. They trade them, and they go on to win Stanley Cups.
Yeah. And then pick 10 with Anaheim. Like, I was looking at Anaheim's thing when we were talking about him earlier. I think Merkta makes a lot of sense, though. Like, you get a big right-handed shot that can fill in with all that left-handed talent you have. I think Merkta or Atchison, one of the defensemen.
I was going to say Atchison, just like an agitating defenseman to play
26 goals, too, as a defenseman.
Go learn from Radko Gudas, kid.
Yeah.
Or Jacob Trouba.
I just think 6'6" right-handed shot, that's hard to pass up on. And that he might go higher just because of that. Like, we've seen that time and time again. Big right-handed shot. Probably goes in the top 10, like you said. Might go to Seattle. But I think Anaheim takes him at 10. And because they have a lot of forwards. I don't think someone like a Carter Bear or a Roger McQueen puts him over the top. There's a couple spots I think McQueen ends up.
And here's where that gets. I think that's probably the biggest wild card is Roger McQueen, because there's just, I mean,
he makes it outside of 10. The Hawks need to trade back up for him. I'm so serious.
I totally agree. I mean, that's the risk you can take when you have all these draft picks, and that's a risk you should be taking.
Huge.
Like, because he could be Tage Thompson, or he might not be an NHLer. Like, he could be Caden Lindstrom, where he's barely in any game action next year with the injuries. if I'm not mistaken, I believe I saw that the Pittsburgh Penguins are very high on Roger McQueen. And I mean, they need help everywhere. So why not start on taking a risk with Roger McQueen? Because they have the Rangers pick 12. I wonder what they're going to do there. I'm going to operate under the assumption that they're going to give the Penguins pick 12 and keep that for next year. So if they got 2 straight first round picks, I'm definitely taking a shot at McQueen. So I'll pick them number 11. But as of right now, it's the Rangers at 12.
Yeah, if they could walk out with. So are you saying the Penguins take McQueen? Or
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So I'd have the Rangers taking Atchison.
Mm-hmm.
I think if Keandre Miller's on the block, they really have a hole on that left side going forward. They drafted like EJ Emery, but he's a right-handed shot. So I think Atchison has the upside, potentially be with a guy like Fox and really maximize his game down the line. I think they'd run to the podium and take him at 12, which, by the way, shows the defensemen are going to start rattling off. I think we've had 3 in the last 4 picks. So this is this is just how the league works. Teams are going to start rattling off defensemen. We saw it last year with, guys like Dickinson and Boyum and whatnot, and Yakimchuk. Like, they all started rattling off like that. So
Parrish,
we'll see.
Yeah.
I'm going Atchison, though.
It really seems like when a draft is like heavy on one thing, like this class is heavy on forward. Like I feel we're gonna see like 3 defensemen picked in the top 10. Like a team is maybe not top 5, but like I could definitely see like 6, 7, 8 a team going for like a Mertka or an Aitchison or a Smith or any defenseman that they like. And then last year it felt more defensive heavy, and then we saw teams like against Utah where I thought, oh, maybe they go a defenseman here, and same with Seattle, but no, both of them went Utah went Iginla, and then Seattle went Catton. So you never quite know. Seems like a lot of teams zag when other teams like zig. So I don't know. It's a neat part of the draft. You never know what's gonna happen. To me right now, I'm like, this is where it kind of starts to drop off a little bit in talent. Like, not that there's not good players there, but this is kind of like the top end of the draft from. I'm not sure. Number 13. I should probably pull up who is picking right now. Detroit Red Wings. Oh, I have a perfect player for them. They love to seemingly draft guys who high compete level. I think they go Carter Bear.
It's a good pick. Columbus is interesting because they always draft super well at 14. At least in terms of ceiling and in terms of guys who have skill. I'm tied between Carbonneau and Renshie right here. Just because it just depends on what type of player they want. If they want that little bit of bite to the game, Carbonneau's right there. I think it's the range where he goes in this draft. But at the same time, Renshie, I think, is more versatile in terms of just he could potentially be a two-way guy. He could be a high-skill forward. They love taking those guys. I think it just comes down to what they want. And maybe I'm going to go Carbonneau here just because I think the bite is going to be the difference maker. But I wouldn't be surprised if it's someone like Renshie at this point as well.
Dude, you know what? Completely fucking God, it's available. Jake O'Brien. Because he's going to go higher than what we have right now.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
Did we not pick Jake O'Brien?
No. I was like, because I'm already like, I'm like just looking at a list. I'm like, I'm trying to remember the name.
Jake O'Brien. All right, I'm going to change up. Oh, fuck.
I was going to be like, if he got to 11, I would switch McQueen.
Jake O'Brien's going to the Rangers. Yeah. I'm changing my pick.
Then
I'm going to have Atchison go to Columbus. Because if O'Brien's still there, he's gone.
Yeah.
He's gone.
Oh, yeah. I don't think he gets outside the top 10, but yeah. So Aitchison to Columbus then. Okay. Yeah, that's fair. I was like, I feel like we're missing one guy. And then I'm like, oh, Jacob. I looked at a list. I'm like, oh, Jacob.
Because we've already blocked him out of our memory because of the rumor maybe going third.
Yeah. So who is at number 15? So these are the last 2 picks. We're only just doing the top half. The Vancouver Canucks, again, they could use a little bit of everything, but I think they go for a guy who they're probably familiar with because he plays with Victoria, Cole Reshny.
Yeah, it's a good pick. I
And the
probably like
Habs got
low ceiling
back-to-back
for
picks,
that
but we're
player.
ending it
But
at 16.
yeah, that's where I think Carbonell goes. Makes the most sense. Him or
Yeah.
Coots here. They always seem to pick the right player, Montreal, the last couple years. So I'm gonna go that.
There we go. Yeah, I don't clearly like at least for me, I'm not familiar enough with this class to go a top 32 as evidence. Like I forgot Jake O'Brien didn't go. But who are some names for you for the Blackhawks at number 25 that intrigue you? Like I would love for them to move up into the top 15, maybe even top 10 again, maybe get a Victor Eklund, but there's still going to be guys that are intriguing. I think the most like I see names like Malcolm Spence, and I'm like, okay, maybe not high upside, but maybe that's a guy you can put in your middle six. But if you want to swing for upside, I think you mentioned his name last podcast, and he's 6'6". I would love them to take a look at Vaclav Nestrasil, or however you say his name.
Yeah. Nestrazel's interesting because I think you could get him with 34.
Yeah, I was
If
gonna
the
say that
draft
too.
shakes the right way, like him or Gastrin, I think is the pick at 34. But I love Jack Murdaugh. I think he's so versatile and he kind of fits that mold of what Davidson looks for. Plus he's 6'1", so that helps a little bit. Malcolm Spence. I think if Davidson really wants to go with his guys, Colin Potter is going to be there.
I was just
And
gonna say that, like, where it feels like anytime outside the first round, it's just speed, and Colin Potter fits. Like, I would not surprise me at all if they drafted him.
Jack Nesbitt's big center. I think that would make sense. One that would be interesting. I floated this one around in my head a little bit because they do have two really good right-handed defensemen. But if you just wanted to clear that whole side, go take Blake Fiddler, big 6'4", right shot
From the Oil
defenseman.
Kings. Whoa!
Like,
Let's go.
I think that 25 they can get really creative. I think. The guy I want's Murdaugh. I think I've made that very clear. Obviously Nestrazel, if that's the play at the time, like we didn't think Renzel was going to be a first, and that ended up happening. Like, take him. Obviously, you have pick 44. You'll be able to get your pick of day two. Yeah, it's probably between those two, Murdaugh and Nestrazel for me. But I wouldn't sleep on guys like Nesbitt. I wouldn't sleep on a guy like Fiddler. I wouldn't sleep on Colin Potter, and I wouldn't sleep on a guy like Bill Zonin.
If Colin Potter is available, especially with 34, they're drafting him. I think they would draft him.
If he's there at 34, he's not making it past the Hawks. If he's there, he's a 5'10" forward. So there's only so many teams I want to waste a first on that.
Yeah,
the Hawks have a lot of that. But if it gets to a certain point, you kind of have to take him. Like if it's a cancer off situation or something of that nature. If he starts falling in day two, you trade back up and get him.
34, pick him, no hesitation. Yeah.
Yeah, if your first three picks are Frondell and Nestrazel and Colin Potter, you're laughing. Or Gastrin. Like there's going to be options for a forward there. I just wouldn't put it past them if, a guy like Fiddler's still hanging around. Maybe take a flyer on a big right shot D-man that plays a different style than Levshunov and Renzel. It'd be nice to have on the third pair, I think. But that's where I'm at with that right now. But Jack Murdaugh, I think, just has so much versatility. He can play center. He can play wing, power play, penalty kill. He's going to BU next year. He might play with Michael Misa if he ends up going there, which would be sick.
No, Misa's going to be playing in Chicago. Let's go.
No, BU is going to be stacked, though. They have, Charlie Treadway's going to be there. Haxley Wang's going to be there, which is nuts. There's going to be it's going to be a Chinese defenseman going in round 2, by the way. 6'6".
Yeah, I did see
He's going to play for BU. It's going to be sick. BU is just going to be loaded, bro. Oh, man. And then, if we're talking later in the second round, I would like Owen Conrad. Just a big left-handed shot. Wouldn't mind that. Jordan Gavin's someone that I've been high on for 3 years. He hasn't had the best draft year, so he might be able to drop later on them to get. I think they're going to draft the other Doc brother, too, at some point. Don't know when, but I think that's very, very possible. And then if we're talking, late round steals, I love Lev Katzin. I think that's a Davidson guy day 3 or day 2. I say day 3 like the NFL draft, but there's a guy who's going to Penn State next year. He had 44 and 48. He's just a water bug, 5'8", super high skilled, and he's going to be playing with probably Martone and Baby McKenna next year. So I I think that's a guy day 2, like round 3 or 4 or 5 even. Just take a flyer on him. Like if you can't get Colin Potter, go get Lev Katzen, in my opinion.
I don't think they would draft him anyways, but I wonder where Ivan Ryabkin's gonna drop to.
I've seen a lot of mock drafts. He ranges from like 20 to 37. So that's another guy. If he's there at 34, you run and take him.
I think they should, but I know like there's been questions about his work ethic and compete in the Blackhawks. Like,
hey, double down on Muskegon. Just take him in the Strazzle. There you go.
That's true.
It's funny though. Nostrazzle 6'6", 185. Ryabkin's 5'11", 209. He's a big kid. So it's going to be interesting to see where he shakes out, because I think if you put him in the right system with the right development, he's going to be a really good player. But you got to work on that work ethic. He could be another Alex Nylander for all we know. But this is a draft where you're going to see 10 different mock drafts, and I promise you, no one's going to know how this draft shakes out. It's going to be like 2022 all over again, where I don't think anyone had that order for the top 10, let alone the top 32. And I felt 2023 was a little bit like that too at some points. But
it was Bedard and then the rest. Like I thought Fantilli was going to go 2. And
I mean, hell, last year Seneca went 3rd. Like this just happens. You know, people fall in love with their guys, and if you like your guy, take him. I'm such a firm believer in that.
Yeah.
As long as it's not Caleb Denoye.
Or Jake O'Brien. We blocked out.
Dude, I'd rather have O'Brien over Denoye. At least O'Brien's got healthy wrists. Like that scares me. Like I was already questionable with Denoye, but he has 2 injured wrists. Doc, how are you going to develop? Oh my God. We saw it with Doc. He shattered his wrist and completely cratered his development.
Ruined his career, I'd say.
Yes.
Also him being up way earlier. Yeah.
And Jarred Tinordi blowing out his knee, but we're just not going to talk about that. Game 3 this season, Jesus Christ. But yeah, it's gonna be a draft where I promise you the top 10 is not gonna go anywhere the way we shaked out.
No.
Like I would not surprise me if, like you said, Merck squeaks into the top 10. Carter Bear is going to be sneaking around the top 10.
One of those defensemen is going to. There's going to be a 2 or 3 defensemen.
Logan Hensler is a big wild card because he didn't really have the best year this year, but he's also fucking 6'5" or 6'2" right shot defenseman. Like people want that. Like he's going to go somewhere. You know, Joshua Ravensbergen is the goalie in this draft, 6'5", and he's a right-handed glove goalie too, which is interesting.
Jonas Hiller,
but he's projected to go first round, so they have Nashville taking him here. LOL, don't see that happening. But you know, looking at like later teams, you know, I know Columbus has a good prospect, but at 20, I could see Columbus taking him. You know, LA, I think is a possibility for taking a goalie. I think Washington's a possibility for taking a goalie. I'd argue Montreal. I know they have Fowler, but they have 2 first-round picks. Like it's very possible.
The Florida Panthers had Spencer Knight and Devin Levi, and look what the players they turned them into. You can use them as trade chips.
Carolina would be interesting. You'll get an elite goalie, but Ravensbergen
makes for saying not to draft a goalie in the first round.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be a couple goalies in this draft. I'm curious to see where they shake out. I don't think the Hawks need a goalie. No. God, they really don't. But
I mean, shit, if he falls to 34, though, well, why not? I mean, again, they can do whatever they want, especially after pick 3.
Like, I just think you can get a goalie in round 3, 4, or 5. Like, Frolov's going to be there. They got Henry or Herbeck, or however you say his name. Like, there's going to be good goalies from Europe that they can go take a flyer on. I'm a firm believer. They're like quarterbacks in the NFL. You should take one every draft. Take one every draft late. You never know. It's fucking goalie, dude. Like, Devin Levi was a 7th round pick. Like, you just don't know with these guys. Take a flyer. That's my 2 cents, though.
Yeah, that is a good point. Like, just looking at the Blackhawks right now, yeah, you got Spencer Knight. They signed Arvid Soderblom out of Sweden, and you signed Lauren Brossoit free agency last year, and Drew Commesso was a 2nd-round pick in 2020. Like, he could be a backup next year, and then you still have Adam Gajan, who you never know. Like, yeah.
Facts.
Never have enough of anything. Like, yeah, if they want to draft another right-handed defenseman, why the hell not? You could use that in a trade. Like, as much as you're drafting them to project them to be on your team, you also have to view them as assets as well.
Yeah. I mean, you can't start all your prospects. I'm such a firm believer in that.
No. As
Look
nice
at who
as it
just
would
won the
be,
fucking cup.
yeah. I think the Panthers only had like 4 homegrown talents. Like the funny thing is, Dmitry Kulikov wasn't originally a Florida Panther, but he's gone to other teams. Like I think it's just Barkov, Ekblad, Lundell, and Samoskevich, but he didn't play the entire playoffs, so he might have
Yep.
played a couple games. But
Yep. Played like 3 games.
yeah, oh, he should get his name on the cup.
He's definitely getting his name on the cup. Played 70 regular season games.
I guess so. I always forget like the qualifications, but yeah, he'll get that and a cup ring. So yeah, we'll go over the top 16 on what we had. So first overall to Islanders, Schaefer. Second overall to the Sharks, Misa. Third overall to the Hawks, Frundell. Fourth overall to Utah, Brady Martin. Fifth overall to Nashville, James Haggins. Sixth overall to the Flyers, Caleb Denoyer. Number 7 to the Boston Bruins, Parker Martone. Number 8 to the Seattle Kraken, Jackson Smith. Number 9 to the Buffalo Sabres, Victor Eklund. Number 10 to the Anaheim Ducks, Reddy Murka. Number 11 to the Pittsburgh Penguins, Roger McQueen. Number 12 to the New York Rangers, Jake O'Brien. Number 13 to the Detroit Red Wings, Carter Bear. Number 14, the Columbus Blue Jackets, Keegan Atchison. Number 15, why am I blanking out on who the team is? Well, number 15 is Cole Reshny. The Canucks, yes. And then number 16 is Justin Carbonneau staying in Quebec. Going to the Montreal Canadiens. How many picks do you think we will get right? Maybe 2.
Nah, I'm gonna go 5. I think we get 5 right.
Because I think it's gonna be Schaefer, Misa, and
Frundell.
if Misa falls into their laps, like I don't give a fuck what else they do this offseason. Like you will never bring me down if they get Michael Misa. I do think the Hawks go Frundell. I do think that's the top 3, and I hope I'm not setting myself up for disappointment if they go Denoyer, but I think that's the top 3. I do think Utah does go Brady Martin, that's 4, but then after that, I don't know.
Crapshoot. I do think we're gonna get one of Denoyer or Martone's destinations right, and I think Brady Martin is the guy for Utah. So we'll see. But I mean, after pick 3, it's such a crap. After pick 2, it's such a crapshoot. Like you're right, it might be 2 at the end of the day, but I think we got 5 in there.
If we get 5, I think that's good. Bang! Bang! Yes, sir. If we get a third of the top half of the draft, we're cooking with grease. Let's go. Pro Scouts.
Facts.
So yeah, that was our mock draft for 2016. Again, didn't do the whole 32 because 1, that would take too long, and 2, quite frankly, I personally don't know much. Like
Pierce doesn't have his 3-round scouting chart like he did a few years back.
No, bro, I fucking do not have the time for that. I miss that so much. Like
I did too.
2021, 2022. For 2020, that's all I did because it was COVID. I was like, I worked and then go home. It's like, oh, go watch some prospects. And
time to watch some Dawson Mercer tape.
Hell yeah. Lucas Reichel.
It's Olympian Lucas Reichel to you, buddy. Okay.
Get that over. Then you get picked over Peterka.
Yep.
That's
levels
crazy.
To this shit. Hashtag you gotta be a first round pick.
Yeah. Could you imagine? It's like Kyle Davidson and trade negotiations. I want JT Peterka, but I mean, you're getting a first round pick and an Olympian for Lucas Reichel. I think that's good value.
I'm using that in my contract negotiations.
Yeah. I was selected to the Olympics.
I'm an Olympian. I deserve at least 3.
Yeah. Do you think they moved? Too many words. Do you think they trade Reichel this offseason? I wonder if
yes.
I was thinking about it. I wonder because I think they're gonna do a swap, like a change of scenery. I've been thinking Nick Robertson, I would love if they got like they could give up a second or a third for Robertson. I'd be happy. I was thinking Maverick Bork from Dallas. Like I think, yeah, you're taking on $1.2 million, but I don't know how much Maverick Bork's gonna want. So I wonder if that's something that could be worked out. Or a name we've been saying for 2 years, Trevor Zegras. But I also think with Trevor Zegras, if they were going to trade for him, they would have done it a while ago. Like I think that ship has sailed, unfortunately.
Yeah, if they're going to keep Reichel, I think he's on the fourth line again. But I think you can use him as a chip to go get someone. But we all know Davidson loves to sit on his hands. So probably just going to run it back with him on the fourth line, and he'll get to play probably 30 minutes in the top six all year. Should be fun.
We really aren't asking for that much with this team. Like, would I love a Mitch Marner? Absolutely. I would love a Nick Ehlers. Fuck, I would even like them to go out and look at a Brad Marchand or John Tavares. Just give them like $10 million per for 2 or 3 years. But it's not even a matter of that. It's a matter of would a Marchand Tavares even want to play in Chicago? Probably not, unless you just offer them so much money that they can't deny it. But
okay. Too many rumors are coming out about the Islanders in Boston. I think I'm starting to realize what this trade package is going to be for 7 if it happens.
Gotta be Dobson, right?
Pajot and Romanoff, I think. They're already saying
that's
they have it.
Romanoff. That's it, bro? If it was Noah Dobson, I would get, bro. You're right side of McAvoy and Dobson, but really Romanoff and Pajot?
Just saying. I think there's a legit smoke to the Islanders trying to get Schaefer and Higgins, if possible.
Oh, or at least for the Islanders.
At least Schaefer and a high-end center. One of the two.
I mean, what a way to put your stamp on your first draft, getting first overall and top 7. Like, it doesn't even matter who they get. If you get like whether it's Higgins or not, or if Martone slips, or I don't know. I don't think Denoye gets there, but if you get a Denoye at 7, absolutely do it.
Facts.
We do have Twitter questions, and I feel it kind of it relates to what we're talking about. Our good friend Connor Boomer asked us top 3 free agent wish list for each of you cuties. I'll let you go first.
Realistic or unrealistic?
Why don't we do both? Why not both?
Cool. Unrealistic.
Connor McDavid. Let's go.
Yeah. Unrealistic, Marner, Ehlers, Besser, one of the 3. Do not care. Won't happen though. So realistically, we're talking Jonathan Drouin, we're talking Jack Roslovic, and I would really like to see Nate Schmidt as a Blackhawk. So those are probably my 3.
You just want a Schmidt jersey, Blackhawks jersey.
That, and he had fucking 12 points in the playoffs. Like, that's a guy I throw a Levshin off and just have the crazy train pair. But probably those 3. Justin Brazeau is another one that I'd like them to at least take a look at as a 4th liner. But those would be the names I'd look at. Or at least I think they're going to look at. Granlund's another one that's sneaky, but I think Duran, like, the more I look at it, it makes a lot of sense.
It makes so much sense, dude, especially if you're giving him I don't know if they signed him to a 1-year flyer because I think that's what he's been doing in Colorado, but like a 2 or 3 year contract.
I think like 2 years, 3.5, 4 mil.
Mm-hmm.
Gets it done. Give him a pay raise. Gets to play top 6 again. Has the skill to play with Bedard. Was very good last year before he got hurt, but he was also playing with McKinnon.
Yeah.
We'll see. Hey, you can be a passenger on Bedard's line. Kershaw had fucking almost 60 points doing that.
Yeah. You just need any kind of, again, we're not asking for it. You just need any kind of skill. Like, Bedard put up 67 points with Ryan Donato as his primary winger. Like, I love Ryan Donato, but like, you're not putting in Ryan Donato to be your silky smooth playmaker to pass the puck to Bedard. Like, he's kind of your Swiss Army knife. I mean, you just need to go after more pure skill. And I think Jonathan Drouin is definitely someone I think they would look at Drouin because it very much reminds me of like them going after Max Domi or like a Thanasiu, where you're not giving them much term, but you're banking on them having not even a bounce back season. You're just banking that he's healthy, really.
Yeah, because if he plays a full year, that's 50-point guy. So
yeah,
need those.
You do. Who's gonna score the goals? For me with free agency, it's like there's not really anyone that I would want to go after because again, who wants to play for the Blackhawks right now? If you want to get like again a Marchand or Tavares on the Hawks, like you're gonna have to give them term and money, and it's like, do you want to do that really? I don't know. I want them to look at the trade market. You gotta look at what you can get. Like I don't know if Jason Robertson's going to get traded, but you got to look at everything you can do to get a JJ Paterka, who would be perfect for Bedard or Nazar or whatever. Just any talented winger you can throw in your top six. I would look at Marco Rossi. I don't care that he's sub 6 feet tall. Like you have options out there. And again, if you're just going to be like, oh, I don't want them, you're not going to get them. What was I going to say? I can't remember, but yeah, for free agency, at this point, I don't think they're going to get Marner or an Ehlers, but yeah, I think you're looking at more like, I don't even think second tier, more like third tier. Like I would put Jonathan Drouin in there, absolutely. Nate Schmidt, like I pretty much agree with your list. Like if they get a Jonathan Drouin, they get a Nate Schmidt free agency, and they trade for, I don't know, like a Nick Robertson or Dawson Mercer. Are you good with that? Like I don't love it, but I'm content with it. Like I could live with that.
You'll be better than you were last year. That's all I'm fucking asking for. I think you get a guy like Drouin. I think you get a guy like Roslovic or a guy like Robertson. Nicky, obviously, not Jason.
Why not both?
Depth. What did I talk about earlier? You need like 6 guys to score 20. And if you have Bedard, you have Nazar, you have Bertuzzi, you have Teravainen, you have Drouin, and you have Robertson, and you have Donato. That's 7 guys. And if you want to throw McKay, but I don't think he's getting 20 again. That's 7 guys with the potential to get 20 goals. That means something. Potentially a couple that can get 30.
Man.
You need it. You need it, especially if your defense is going to be young and you're going to be in a lot of close games. If you really are going to buy into your 15-game sample size like they say they're going to, which, God, that works so well for the Canucks for 5 years.
Worked
Cool.
well for the Leafs. Worked well, yeah. No,
You need
it's never gone wrong.
depth, and they have neither right now. So I'd like them to add some.
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole point of the podcast is to like hypothesize, oh, what if they did get Marner? What if they did trade for Jason Robertson? But we're very like content with them just getting like depth guys, really. The bar has been so low. And honestly, like they can make those moves, but I think they're probably still picking the top 10 next year. Can we like pick outside the top 5 for once? Like if they fall ass backwards in the McKenna, which I think they have a greater probability than what we think they might, because every team is looking to get better. If this team just hits 30 wins, I'm fine. Like really, like it's how low the bar is right now.
Facts. Bars in the earth fucking crust.
Yeah, it's right in the middle of the Earth's core right now, and it's fucking melting. Like it's not even there. There's not even a bar. Like
Facts.
I think that was one question from Connor. We had another question, and it kind of relates to earlier we were talking about the Oilers. This is from Tate. Will Bowman force McDavid out of Edmonton due to his long list of awful decisions? 8 years for Frederick,
Yes.
not matching the Broberg. Yeah, that's the end of question. Not matching the Broberg and Holloway offer sheets, leaving Bouchard open to an offer sheet, and not trading for a goalie. It really is crazy, just like the amount of decisions, this stupid decisions that the Oilers have made. I don't even think it's a matter of like Bouchard being offer sheeted. Like I think a trade is more likely. Like all I can say is they better have some kind of trade on the back burner where they're getting rid of either Kane or Arvidsson. But from that tweet from Frank Saravalli where he was like they might not announce it for a while, to me it's like they're searching right now, which I think is crazy that they don't have a backup plan for that. But yeah, I think the Oilers are going to be interesting to watch regardless again.
They have to be.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's the contract year of McDavid. You're going to be the talk of the town regardless of if you won or lost the cup. Crosby never had the chance to go to free agency. Ovechkin never was given the chance to go to free agency. Kane did 15 years into his career. Just doesn't happen often. And it's going to happen potentially if you don't make some serious changes to that roster.
Again, I think hockey's boring. He will sign, but and maybe the most sad part is
16 and a half, no move. Some bullshit like that.
That's probably. I mean, you simply can't overpay Connor McDavid. Like they could give him, I think it's 20% of the cap you can offer them, and you'd still be underpaid. But then, how the hell are you gonna fill out the rest of your team? And that's something Stan Bowman's got to figure out this offseason. Like there are very few teams that are in a cap bind right now, but like I'd put the Oilers in there, the Stars are in there now, the Avalanche as well, Vegas, but all those teams have found ways before to like get themselves out of the situations. So I guess we shall see. What do you we're gonna do probably a free agency preview, like we'll record probably before the draft and after the draft. But like what do you think happens with Mitch Marner? Where do you think he goes? Because I think Colorado continues to shuffle the decks, and I think they get Mitch Marner. I could also see Vegas, like one of those two.
In this order: Vegas, Carolina, Utah, wild card.
Utah's another good one, yeah.
Wild card's just anyone. Like it could be LA at that point. I don't fucking know.
Yeah, Anaheim too. Owner, yeah.
It just depends on what he wants. Like, it sounds like he's not signing right at July 1st. Sounds like he's gonna take a couple days. So
sounds like he wants to do like what like Ohtani and Soto did. It's like
not Ohtani. Oh my god. Yeah. Tavares did all this shit the week before he went to free agency. God, what a clown. But whatever. And then with Ehlers, I think it screams Utah or Carolina.
Carolina, yeah.
Someone's gonna pay him a stupid amount of money. And if you talk to 20 teams in the league, 20 teams think they're gonna get Ehlers. So should be fun. Like if you talk to any semi-contender, we could get Ehlers. We could get Ehlers, and then they find out he's gonna make $9 million. They're like, I don't know if I want that now. Fucking greedy SOBs, Jesus Christ. Like I was talking to a Caps fan, and he was like, man, it'd be cool if they got Jason Robertson. And I was like, well, if you want Jason Robertson, it's probably McMichael, Cole Hudson, and 2 firsts minimum. And he was like, I like McMichael though. I don't want to do that. I'm like, you're a fucking idiot. Oh my god.
I would not trade Connor McMichael.
He's young. Yeah, he's 60-point max winger for a guy who's had 100 points in the league multiple times that will be locked up for 9 years, not 8 years, because you're getting him a year before his extension kicks in. Give me a fucking break. Oh my god. You got to spend something to get something in this fucking league. And if you're going to be content on sticking with, what was it? Oh man. Who was untouchable in a Jack Eichel trade once upon a time? Like, this is the shit we're talking about. Like, just
Dylan Dubé. Ridley Gregg.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah.
You gotta spend something to get something, though, and I'm curious to see which team does it because there's everyone's looking to make moves right now, but you can look to make moves. It's actually making them, and I think the Rangers are right in the mix with all these guys too. I just don't see a world where Marner's a Ranger. I think that makes 0 sense.
No, I think he's going west. Yeah, like
or he goes to Florida.
Biggest troll ever.
Dude, you know how nasty a line of fucking Reinhart, Barkov, and Marner is defensively? Oh my god.
Yeah, have fun.
Reinhart might get 60 again. Jesus.
Robertson, I view as like a borderline franchise. Like he's not as consistent, but like if he is just consistent, like I think he could be a franchise winger. And again, like any team should be looking like if I'm Washington, I'd be fine with giving up Ryan Leonard for Jason Robertson. Like that's how much I believe in him. Like again, it's the Family Guy thing. Like, oh, hang on, it's a boat. The mystery box could be anything. It could be a boat. Like, no, I'm taking that what I know is going to be the boat. And yeah, if Dallas is like, hey, I want 3rd overall, you're gonna have to take on like Lyubushkin or Dumba, but you get Jason Robertson. I think I do that.
I would.
I love
a fucking heartbeat.
Yeah, like I love Brundell and Martone, but I know they're likely not going to be 100-point winger and like 40 goal scorer like Jason Robertson is. So
yeah,
It's true. You just can't buy that talent. Well, you can.
No.
You just choose not to.
That's the thing. Like, there's always talent available. Again, like I said, like Florida and Vegas, how come they're always the ones that find these high-end forwards and no one else can? How come they're the only ones that can pull the trigger on these big trades? Because they want the forwards and they don't care what they gotta do to get them. Whereas teams like, I gotta like we gotta hold on to Easton Cowan. No.
We're not trading Matt Nyes and Mikko Rantanen trade. Give me a fucking break.
I mean, I love Matthew Nyes.
He's not
Again,
Mikko
there's always
Rantanen.
shit. He
Mikko
is
Rantanen
not
was a
Mikko
100-point
Rantanen,
winger at the
bro.
age of Matt Nyes. Like, God.
Mhm.
It's why it's the same way I feel about Robertson. Oh, I want my 60-point winger who's young. Yeah, well, when Robertson was that age, he was either winning a Calder or he was already point a game. So,
Mhm.
you know, pick your poison. I'd like the guy who's proven that he's just elite in the NHL. But yeah, sure, have your thing of magic beans. He could even be Jason Robertson. He won't be, but he might be. The Family Guy joke will live on forever, honestly. The box could even be a boat. Jesus fucking Christ.
It's not even a joke anymore. It's just
It's
like
a reality, bro.
it's manifested reality. Yeah.
Every sport does it too. Oh, we like our guys.
Mhm.
Well, then don't get better and win championships. I don't know what to tell you.
I don't know. I just think of did you see the Devers trade? Holy shit. Like
Yeah.
the Giants are trying to win a division and win a World Series. And it's like, yeah, these pit prospects could be good, but they're not Rafael Devers, who is probably like at his best like a top 10 hitter in the sport.
Yep.
And I
It's
mean,
just
like,
very questionable decision making all around from teams that are, just sitting on the fence trying to get better, but they won't make the moves to get better. Like, you can't. Like, that's why I don't even blame Nashville. Like, Nashville tried to get better. Just suck. It blew up in their face. But
they at least tried. But the shitty thing from that other GMs would be like, see, that's why we don't spend or try to do anything.
Kyle Davidson.
Yeah. And again, like in all fairness, I don't think this is a free agency to blow your load, but look at the trade market, man. Like, whatever. Feels like we're just I'm spinning my tires in the mud right now. We just gotta see all this unfold. Like we're starting to see the small moves. Are we gonna see
The dam's
big moves?
breaking.
No. It is. It is bursting indeed. Anyways, that's all I got. Do you have anything else, or we can end this podcast off?
Nah, that's it for me. I'm ready for the draft. Are we live streaming the draft?
Fuck yeah, we are.
Let's go.
Either we're gonna have a great reaction when Micah Misa falls to 3, or we're
Picking Caleb Denoye.
I
Or
don't
they
want to
pick
think
Denoye
about.
with Misa on the board, which would actually maybe send me into suicide watch. Holy shit. That rest of the stream is going to be just me being miserable for 3 hours, like sorry ahead of time.
We'll be dead within the week.
Drunk and
or on a watch list. Like either way, we're gonna die. Like terrorism is gonna be.
we have caught
I
and
still don't.
compromised.
The thing is, I still don't know if anything can get worse than 2021 draft night. Like, so bad. Like they could do that. I don't even like. That'll be so bad, but I don't know if it could be worse than them trading for Seth Jones. And it's like, oh, maybe they could pick Logan Stankoven at number 32, and then Nolan Allen. What? And then the day is just over. All right.
Nice.
Thank you for tuning in. Give us a 5-star rating on your preferred podcast platform, whether that is Spotify, Apple, Amazon, Google. If you're watching our beautiful faces on YouTube, be sure to smash that like button, hit the subscribe button and notification bell so you don't miss out on any new content. So for Pierce and Dylan, take it easy, y'all. We'll talk another time, probably before the draft.